Hey guys, how's it going? On this week's video, I'll be talking a little bit about breathing. What is the most efficient pattern for breathing? What are the two most common ways that people like to cheat? And why is it so important? When people come to see me for a session, the first thing that I do after evaluating their range of motion and what patterns their nervous system is allowing them access to, I teach people how to breathe. And if I don't directly go after breathing with someone, then I'll be teaching them other strategies that will help support the breathing mechanic. So people will hear this and immediately the thoughts will go to hamstrings, adductors, obliques, serratus, things like that, because breathing is not some lackadaisical operation. For people to truly understand how to breathe at a very efficient, in a very efficient manner, it's going to be one of the most draining things you've ever done. It's going to be scary. You're going to be filled with a lot of anxiety. You're going to feel like you're suffocating, that you have no more air, or that you're running out of air, or that you can't get air fast enough into your body. These are the common experiences that people have when I teach them how to breathe. And to my knowledge, there's only a handful of people that really teach it this way, all of us being students of Mike Zhao. Okay? So that's first off. You have to understand that breathing isn't a skill that you're innately born with or that you're particularly good at right now. If you're watching this video and you're not one of my clients, you have not worked with my mentor, you haven't worked with Kento, yeah, you probably suck at breathing. But the reason why this is such a big deal is because every moment of your life, you're constantly undergoing a battle of managing internal air pressure. And it's a battle that at any given moment in time, you are either winning or you're losing. And by that I mean, is the air inside of you, is it dictating where it wants to go, or are you dictating where it should go? So how gases work in our world. Gases like to travel from areas of relatively high pressure to areas of relatively low pressure. When we inhale, our body, the cavity inside of our body, is in a relatively lower air pressure compared to the environment outside of our body. Okay, that's how inhalation works. Okay, so now let's take that a step further. What people commonly do when they inhale is they try to create this difference in air pressure in one of two means. The first way that people like to do it is to chest breathe. So they will extend their chest, their thoracic spine will go into extension. The axillary muscles of respiration in your neck are going to try to elevate the rib cage. So in a sense, you're creating more volume, therefore lowering air pressure to get air into your lungs. Okay, but it's through extension, right? And from my previous video on posturements, you know that extension is one of the ways that will translate your center of pressure on your feet forward to your toes. So now you're working extra hard just to stand up, right? You're working hard, you're recruiting your quads, your calves, your back extensors, all of these things just to remain upright and fight gravity, all right? So that's what happens when we have chest or thoracic extension. The second strategy that people like to utilize for inhalation is belly breathing. So instead of extending their chest cavity, extending their thoracic spine, they're going to be extending their lumbar spine, and they're going to translate their ribcage forward through another section of their body. Now what happens is the abdominals get eccentrically loaded, but you're still translating your center of pressure forward to your toes. So a lot of the same things are going on, except now your obliques are going to be on stretch. They're going to be on eccentric load, and it's going to be harder for them to transfer forces from the ground to the upper body. All right. So now it's both of these strategies of extension are not allowing you to fill up your lungs as effectively as you would otherwise, because you're thinking belly expansion, hey, it's diaphragmatic breathing, right? Wrong. If you are currently alive and you're watching this video and you're inhaling and exhaling, you are already breathing diaphragmatically. There is no way to breathe without using your diaphragm. So this whole idea, people that use the phrase diaphragmatic breathing, they don't really understand how this breathing mechanic works. So it's like, oh, you got to learn to breathe diaphragmatically. Yeah, no, you don't. You already are breathing diaphragmatically. What we are trying to manage now is what other patterns and mechanisms are you employing to help with your diaphragmatic breathing. All right. So that's the key difference here, is that if someone's trying to get you to breathe more with your diaphragm, breathe diaphragmatically, kindly back away and head for the exit, because this person is regurgitating jargon that really has no meaning. There's nothing behind this phrase. There's nothing to it at all. So that's what people have to understand, is if you're not trying to breathe diaphragmatically, you're already doing it. It's what other strategies are you employing. If you're employing the strategy of spinal extension to get air into your lungs, it's not a very effective means of getting air into your body, but also it is now taking that attachment site of the diaphragm on the lumbar spine and it's pulling it forward. So now the diaphragm, which is a muscle of respiration, becomes a muscle of posture because it's helping you stand up and resist gravity. So that's another thing to consider, is that if you are not breathing efficiently, you are utilizing structures in your body in ways that they are not designed to be used. And now you can keep using this strategy for decades before something starts to give. And that's when people start to say like, oh, well, I was fine before for years, nothing, this never bothered me, and now all of a sudden my back or my knee or my neck or my shoulders, something. But all of those things that I just mentioned are tied in very closely to your rib cage and the position of your rib cage. So if your rib cage is translated forward and your shoulder joint, which is really 4 joints across your body, your shoulder joint now is like starting to get a little pissed off. Well, think about it. If your rib cage is forward relative to where it's supposed to be, and the shoulder has no idea how to manage this new rib cage position, well, how do you think the shoulder is going to deal with all of this tension that you're putting through it? Either by carrying a bag over your shoulder, or lifting weights in the gym, or some other sport like golf or tennis where you have to rotate and combine that with shoulder mechanics. Okay, so that's the shoulder. Back, well, rib cage is forward, extensors are lighting up. Extensors are not designed to be constantly on. All right, if you're using this strategy in order to deal with respiration, then you're just going to tire out your back musculature, and you're never going to be able to shift from side to side. The reason that we shift partially is to load one side of the body and unload the other side. That way we're not constantly loading everything forever and ever and ever. Things tend to give out that way. We're not designed to be constantly under load. Hips, great. If the rib cage is translated forward, then the rib cage can't be a rib cage. Pelvis has to do things that are not the responsibility of the pelvis. Okay, so now we're in more of an anterior tilt, and we're trying to figure out how to manage our pelvis position over our femurs. But if a pelvis is supposed to be more level and we're tipped forward because now our abs are on load, our rib cage is forward, we're in this position of extension, pelvis can't alternate as well. If you're in extension, you cannot shift all that well. And for my clients that are watching this, you can recall when I have you flex just a little bit more, you have greater access to hip internal rotation, which you need for stance, or for a more vivid picture, single leg deadlifts and lunges. You need that. You need to be in a significantly more flexed position as opposed to extension, because in extension, well, I just talked about right now, you are losing the battle with gravity. You are losing your ability to manage gravitational forces and internal air pressure. Okay, so you have a few things that are going on, and you can kind of see how all this relates to random hip, shoulder, neck pain. Neck, your SCM is incredibly reliant on the position of your sternum and your rib cage. So if your rib cage again is forward, then the base of the SCM is kind of just doesn't know where it is. Like if we can get a rib cage that's retracted, if you can get a rib cage that alternates, because rib cages alternate just like pelvises do. You can see a pelvis rotate as you walk left and right. Rib cages do the same thing. Okay? If the rib cage isn't allowed to alternate, if it is not allowed to rotate freely, or one side goes down as the other side goes up, then you're stuck. And that's the whole thing of why extension is so bad. It's not that extension is so bad, it's that you're stuck in this pattern. You're only relying on this one pattern to deal with all of your stressors in your life. Okay? You need to learn to be able to shift. You need to be able to learn how to alternate, load and unload. Because if you're just constantly gunning on that gas pedal, that's not really going to get you too far for too long. All right? So we talked about why it's so important. Breathing helps set up the position of your rib cage relative to your pelvis, and then there are other positions that the bones in your body need to be in order to help facilitate this at the most efficient level. Okay? So if you're, let's say you're shifting over to the right, okay, we're going to need obliques on that side. We're going to need the rib cage and the pelvis to start facing one another. Well, there's certain muscles that help you to do that. There's hamstrings and adductors on the pelvis, on the bottom of the pelvis, that help position the ilium. And now we have internal obliques that help us internally rotate or pull down on the rib cage. Now the rib cage is also getting pulled back. As the rib cage gets pulled back, we can now protract the shoulder blades forward, and that can help set us up for to close off and load one side of our body. So now we can inhale appropriately through our lungs. Okay. But if we're just constantly falling forward, if our ribs are flared out, right? If we are biasing our toes more so than our heels in just everyday standing, waiting for the train, we are working a lot harder than we have to. And then it's no wonder when we ask or demand more of our body, either through the stressors of everyday life, professional lives, or at the gym, or through some recreational activity. Because now we're stacking on greater demand on top of a system that quite simply can't handle the load because you're asking it to do 3 or 4 different things at once. Let it learn how to breathe efficiently, learn how to use obliques, learn how to exhale, learn how to set your position, learn to inhale through this position. And then an amazing thing happens when people are able to do this successfully. Aberrant tension in the body suddenly gets dialed down. Once you're able to complete a few successful breaths in this pattern, your nervous system calms down, people feel more relaxed, they gain much more range of motion, and it's almost like magic, but it is an incredibly nuanced thing to experience. You can't just squeeze your hamstrings and like blow out hard and then inhale afterwards and think that that's all there is to it. You know, I've posted up tons of videos on specific drills that you can do. I posted up a lot of tutorials on my Instagram as well, and still I have people that come to me for coaching after having seen a bunch of my drills and my videos, and when I coach them through these patterns, it's a completely different thing. They're like, wow, I've never felt that before. All right? It's not about like what you need to do, it's about what you need to experience. And for most of us, we've never really felt what it's like to load one side of our body. We've never felt what it's like to truly fill up our lungs efficiently with air. We've just experienced cheats all of our lives. And so now we're just trying to cheat less and cheat less and cheat less, and we're not really getting the real experience. We're just getting pieces of it. You know, oh, the exhale was really good, but then I couldn't hold on to that position when I inhaled. As soon as I breathed in, I extended through my chest or my belly, or I could feel my ribs expanding out laterally, or a bunch of other things that can happen when you lose position. All right? And no, it's not about doing this with every single breath throughout the day. It's about granting your nervous system, granting your brain, granting your cerebellum access to these inputs. Okay? It's not about, well, does this look good, or does this look right, or how was that? No. When you do it right, you will know. And your body will tell you. You'll get up, your heels will feel heavier, your torso will feel lighter, you'll be able to rotate more freely, and some of these things are readily apparent. You'll just walk around and you're like, I don't know what's different, but something's different. Something feels different. People have even observed that the room gets bigger, like the walls get pushed back further away, colors seem different, the tone in your voice changes. All of these things are normal. Like when you access appropriate breathing, when you sync up all of these different pieces in your body, things are going to change, because now your brain, your cerebellum has different resources available to it, different sensory inputs available to it, from which it can concoct different patterns for movement, different patterns for managing gravity. Okay? This is what I'm talking about, is that you cannot only correct conscious movement. Hey, move this here, squeeze your lats, squeeze your glutes, do all this stuff, breathe through your belly. That's not how it works. Okay? Breathing is the linchpin for all of these things, and then that's still only the first step, because you need to be able to manage air pressure in your body so you can hold on to a position, so you can hold on to sensations. Because then that's when the real work begins. This is all just giving you a short reprieve. It's just putting you in a state where you're able to learn stuff now. Getting access to this new state with proper inhalation and exhalation. This is just giving you a buffer, right? The real trick now comes from taking this experience and then stacking skills on top of it. So you may have someone that says like, well, my coach or my PT or whatever coaches that shows me how to breathe, teaches me how to breathe. But then you do the breathing drill. It's not that difficult. Like, it's not that draining. You do it and you're like, all right, fine, cool, and let's go to the workout. And then nothing changes. No. You have to completely reorient how you approach training after you get exposed to this stuff. Because if you just do these breathing drills and you go back to doing everything the same as you did before, then you're not affecting any kind of change. All you're doing is delaying the inevitable. Okay? With these new principles, you have to take it into how you lift, how you train, how you move, how you live. It's not just about, oh, let me do this breathing drill and then I'm good to go. No. That's not how it works. This isn't your get out of jail free card. You've been exposed to a better way of breathing. You've been exposed to a better way of dealing with air pressure and gravity. Great. Now you have to build resilience with this skill. It's not just about this game genie cheat that will allow you to train harder and longer and whatever, and you can just keep doing the stuff that you did that brought you here. It's the patterns that you've been doing that put you where you are, where you have chronic lower back issues or hip tightness or shoulder, a junky shoulder, whatever. All of these things are a direct result of how you manage air and how you manage gravity. It's skill. And no one taught you these skills. Breathing is just the first step. You need to have that. You need to own it. You need to be competent at it in order for you to build other skills. Because if you don't have that, I can't teach you a deadlift. I can't teach you a row. I can't teach you a shoulder press. I can't teach you anything. I mean, I can show you the physical outward exterior, the characteristics, the shape, the form of a movement. But that's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. You won't be able to hold on to it. There are other things that need to set the stage for that. And that's what the breathing drills do for you. That's what the resets do for you. They allow you to remap your environment, and you have a better understanding in your body and in your brain of where you are in the world, right? Your heels can now serve a purpose. Your lungs can serve their purpose. Your hips, your ribs, your shoulders can act like ribs, hips, and shoulders. If you start having a pelvis that starts acting like shoulders, or shoulders that start acting like a pelvis, I might be getting a little esoteric here, but that's what we're doing, most of us anyway. When we're just moving and then we see somebody told us, hey, this is how you do X, this is how you do a lunge, this is how you do a squat, this is how you do whatever. And then we're like, all right, cool, whatever, this person's relatively fit, I'm going to go listen to them and do this thing. We are continuously mining that particular pattern. And then we wonder, hey, all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden this happened, all of a sudden this, all of a sudden this. It's not all of a sudden. You've been milking this pattern for years, decades sometimes. And finally, your brain and your body said, nope, no mas. I can't do it. I can't keep doing it in this way. And then you get frustrated because you say, well, it worked for years, why won't this work now? Okay? So that's why breathing is so important. Those are the two most common cheats that people have: breathing through thoracic extension, chest breathing, breathing through lumbar extension, belly breathing. Okay? The most efficient way to breathe is to learn how to exhale sufficiently to get the ribs to close down, to create internal pressure in your lower abdomen, and then to hold on to that pressure as you inhale. You're going to feel anxiety, you're going to feel like you're running out of air, you're going to feel like choking or coughing at the end range of your exhale, and then the inhale is going to feel like you're not getting air fast enough. Like, there is no way in hell this could possibly be good for me. But all it is a novel pattern for you today when you start working on that stuff. It's a novel pattern until it isn't, and then you start looking for that. All right? So, that's this week's video on breathing. If you guys have any questions on it, feel free to drop a comment below or shoot me a message on whatever platform you find me, whether it's on LinkedIn, YouTube. Can you send messages on YouTube? Instagram, doesn't matter. Facebook, don't care. Shoot me an email. All right? I'd love to hear from you, and I'd like to know what you thought about this video. So until next week, I'll see you guys on Tuesday.